Hey Lotus family, welcome back to Lotus Phoenix Astro Healer. I'm so grateful that you're here. If you're new to the channel, welcome home. It's good to have you with us. I believe that our paths have crossed for you to hear the messages shared in this video today, and I hope that you will become part of the family by subscribing to the channel and liking the video. In today's video, we will explore the major planetary shifts shaping the month of September 2025, offering a forecast for how the month may unfold. These insights highlight the general energies affecting the collective. I will also be offering guidance on how you can align with them as they move through the month. Remember that astrology is deeply personal, so a one-on-one reading is the most powerful way to understand how these cosmic influences are activating in your life and supporting your unique soul's journey. To book a personal reading with me, please follow the link shared in the description of the video as well as the pinned comment. Let's get into it. So on the 1st of September, Saturn moves back into Pisces, reopening unfinished Piscean themes. The moon in Sagittarius at the time applies to a square with Saturn, pressing the tension between idealism and restraint. Both of Jupiter's signs are engaged, and there is a mutual reception between Jupiter in Cancer and the moon in Sagittarius. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, giving maturity and depth to what might otherwise feel like a clash. This is not a reckless expansion, but the kind that is tempered by wisdom. The moon wants to move forward with enthusiasm, while Saturn urges patience and integration. The mutual reception between Jupiter and the moon provides a channel for cautious optimism. So growth is possible, but only when it is rooted in emotional maturity and steady support. This moment reminds us that expansion without structure falters, but expansion with care endures. How you can use this energy? You can revisit projects or responsibilities with an eye for refinement. Seek guidance from mentors or elders, the kind of wisdom that comes through lived experiences. Guard against rushing ahead. Allow Saturn to slow you down just enough for Jupiter's exalted counsel to ground your next steps. Moving on to September the 2nd, Mercury enters Virgo, which is the sign of its domicile and exaltation, thereby restoring clarity and analytical strength. Mercury will immediately come under the beams of the Sun, which is at 10 degrees of Virgo. So while mental processes sharpen, they remain somewhat hidden or internal. The Moon at 6 degrees of Capricorn will be separating from a trine to Mercury, showing that the groundwork for clear thinking has just been laid. This ingress strengthens Mercury's natural qualities of precision, discernment, and order. Yet, because Mercury is under the beams, much of this clarity is gestating beneath the surface rather than being fully expressed. The separating trine from the moon suggests that practical foundations are already in place, and now is the time to refine them quietly without the need for immediate disclosure. You can use this period for private organization, careful analysis, and behind-the-scenes planning. Adjust your routines, edit or proofread your written work, or restructure any systems that you have in place. What seems sharply true in your mind may not yet be ready for external articulation, so give your ideas some space to ripen before presenting them. Moving on to September the 7th, we have a full moon and north node lunar eclipse occurring at 15 degrees of Pisces, marking karmic revelations and emotional turning points. Mercury at 10 degrees of Virgo is combust, joined closely with the Sun and the South Node, so mental clarity is obscured as deeper, unseen processes are at work. The cluster of Sun, Mercury, and the South Node forms a sextile to exalted Jupiter in Cancer, providing quiet assurance, guidance, and hope. So this eclipse calls us to release old illusions and trust that a higher divine intelligence is at work in our lives. With Mercury combust, the mind cannot grasp the full picture of what's going on, but that does not mean we're without guidance. So exalted Jupiter, harmoniously linked to this eclipse, is a reminder that wisdom and protection are present even when not immediately visible. In Pisces, faith itself becomes the anchor. This is about believing in growth through surrender, holding optimism in the knowledge that what dissolves is making way for something divinely aligned. We may not see the full shape of it now, but it is in the hands of the divine. What you can do with this energy is to rest, reflect, and lean into the practices that strengthen your faith, whether it's prayer, meditation, or time in nature. Write down your dreams or symbols that surface, as they may hold messages of guidance tailored just for you. Avoid forcing clarity. This is the time to trust the unfolding rather than to control it. Moving on to September the 13th, Mercury enters the heart of the Sun, becoming Cazimi at 20 degrees and 54 minutes of Virgo. This is a moment of purification and renewal. This conjunction occurs in exact sextile to exalted Jupiter in Cancer, linking clear vision with divine wisdom and growth. So after the haze of the eclipse, this Cazimi acts like a sacred flame, burning away stagnant thoughts, doubts, and fears. What remains is clarity, a sharp, renewed sense of purpose, and a mind attuned to higher guidance. With exalted Jupiter in Cancer hurling its rays in support, the purification that happens here is not just mental, but it's deeply spiritual. It is as though the cosmic teacher himself blesses this moment, ensuring that the new thoughts and intentions we carry forward are rooted in wisdom, compassion, and faith. This is a rare chance to align our reason with the divine, blending intellect with intuition, logic with trust. The energy asks for alignment not only in thought but in practical life, in the choices, the routines, and the actions that reflect this higher clarity. To take advantage of this energy, journal any insights or ideas that may arise. They may be small, but they carry long-term significance. Set intentions, particularly for health, work, or acts of service. Take practical steps to embody these insights in your daily life. Even minor adjustments can have ripple effects that last for the long term. The window of Cazimi itself is brief, so you need to act deliberately, not impulsively. Avoid overextending yourself. Clarity does not mean all answers are immediately apparent, so let the wisdom unfold with time and trust that it is for your highest good. Moving on to September the 18th, Mercury moves into Libra, still under the beams of the Sun, and it is separating from an opposition to retrograde Saturn in Pisces, carrying forward the lessons of discipline, structure, and patience. With Mercury in Libra, the mind leans towards refinement, balance, fairness, and relational insight. Even while under the beams, thought retains sharpness, but it requires careful handling to express itself clearly. The recent opposition to Saturn reminds us that insight needs to be grounded in experience and that wisdom emerges when we weigh consequences before speaking or acting. This is a moment to think win-win. Seek solutions that honor both principle and relationships. Use this period to approach conversations and negotiations with thoughtfulness and diplomacy, aiming for outcomes that respect both your needs and those of others. Consider how lessons from past challenges and mistakes can guide practical choices in the present, and avoid rushing your communication or making commitment before clarity fully emerges. This is a time to be patient in your speech, balanced and deliberate, trusting that your well-considered intentions will yield long-term benefit. Moving on to September the 19th, Venus moves into Virgo, the sign of her fall. She'll be forming an exact conjunction with the Moon and entering a mutual reception with Mercury, which is still under the Sun's beams. The South Node of the Moon remains co-present, supporting discernment and selective detachment. Venus is separating from a Platic sextile to Mars in Libra. With Venus in Virgo, love, value, and care are expressed through attentiveness, detail, and practical devotion. The conjunction with the Moon deepens emotional awareness, while the mutual reception with Mercury under the Sun's beams encourages thoughtful, balanced communication. Reciprocity becomes essential. Meaningful connections require both parties to be attentive and committed. The presence of the South Node here reminds us that detachment is also possible, so we can release that which brings our energies, goals, and intentions out of balance, thereby creating space for relationships and collaborations that are truly reciprocal. This period requires of us to strike a delicate balance between engagement and boundaries. How you can take advantage of this energy is to focus on gestures and communication that shows care while remaining aware of the other person's willingness to meet you halfway. So pay attention to signs of reciprocity and allow the South Node's influence to guide you in letting go of relationships or arrangements that are one-sided. Avoid over-criticism or trying to force harmony. Refinement, mindfulness, and mutual commitment are the true markers of value at this time. Moving on to September the 21st, we have a South Node solar eclipse and new moon occurring between the 28th and 29th degrees of Virgo, exactly opposite Saturn in Pisces. Mercury remains under the beams, and Venus, through mutual reception with Mercury, symbolically comes under the beams of the Sun as well. This eclipse and new moon mark a powerful culmination of cycles in Virgo. It is a moment of endings that are also beginnings. Though certain habits, systems, or relationships may reach a final stage, this closing creates the space and clarity needed for the next cycle to emerge. The opposition to Saturn emphasized that these transitions are structured and purposeful. Mercury and Venus under the beams ensure that discernment, communication, and relational awareness guide these changes. Faith and cautious optimism remain essential, allowing us to trust the process even when clarity is partial. This is also the second new moon in Virgo, part of the double new moon portal discussed in the previous video, reminding us that endings are simultaneously invitations for renewal. Here's some practical advice and caution for this energy. Use this time to consciously release what no longer serves you, observing where balance and reciprocity exists, and allow detachment from what is one-sided or stagnant. Take care in communication as Mercury and Venus are under the beams, indicating that clarity is still emerging, but subtle misunderstandings are still possible. Embrace the dual nature of this portal, and remember that endings are also beginnings, so make sure that the intentions that you set are aligned with this renewed lunar cycle, trusting that your discernment and mindfulness will guide you into what is truly aligned for you. Moving on to September the 22nd, Mars enters Scorpio, which is the sign of its feminine domicile, activating depth, intensity, and transformative energy. Venus will be separating from a sextile to Mars, still influencing Mercury through mutual reception. The Moon will conjunct Mercury or Venus by mutual reception, further emphasizing the relational and mental awareness and using these to inform our next steps in this new lunar cycle. With Mars in Scorpio, the energy turns inwards and becomes transformative. Our actions and desires and ambitions are now filtered through depth, focus, and the pursuit of meaningful change. The separating Venus-Mars sextile and Mercury's ongoing mutual reception maintains subtlety in communication and relationships, encouraging mindful engagement rather than impulsive action. This is a time to channel intensity into growth and transformation. While endings and initiations are still unfolding from the recent eclipse, Mars in Scorpio urges us to take decisive steps, but only where aligned with deeper purpose and insight. Some practical advice and caution for you. Focus your energy on projects, relationships, or personal goals that require depth, commitment, and transformation. Allow your passions to be guided by discernment, ensuring that your actions are deliberate rather than reactive. Observe where relationships and collaborative are reciprocal and avoid forcing outcomes. Intensity without alignment can create unnecessary conflict during this time. So trust in the process and use this period to transform what is stagnant or misaligned into something purposeful and empowering. Finally, on September the 22nd, the Sun moves into Libra, highlighting relationships, balance, and fairness. Mercury remains under the beams, guiding the thoughts and communications, while Venus continues its influence through mutual reception with Mercury. With the Sun entering Libra, its natural urge for autonomy is challenged by Libra's emphasis on partnership and the we over me. Yet, the Sun does not lose its essential nature in Libra. It just takes on leadership that is diplomatic and fosters harmony rather than asserting its dominance. Venus, through mutual reception with Mercury, helps the Sun to express this leadership gracefully, smoothing relational dynamics and supporting collaboration. Mercury under the beams encourages careful thought and communication, allowing the Sun to guide with awareness and integrity. This is a moment to practice leadership that balances decisiveness with consideration, creating alignment while honoring both the self and others. Some practical advice: focus on leading by example and diplomacy, ensuring that your decisions foster fairness and mutual benefit. Use Mercury and Venus's influence to communicate thoughtfully and nurture reciprocity while remaining aware of your own intentions and boundaries. Avoid trying to assert authority in ways that undermine collaboration. Instead, channel leadership to bring clarity, balance, and harmony into shared spaces. Each event this month offers opportunities to integrate faith, cautious optimism, and practical action, whether it is through reflection, intention setting, or refining daily habits and interactions. While these insights provide a map for collective energies, the power of astrology is in how it unfolds for each individual. If you'd like to explore how this month's energies specifically affect you, I invite you to book a personal reading with me, and together we can map these energies onto your chart to uncover your unique opportunities for growth and help you step consciously into your path of alignment and soul service. If you have found this message to be helpful, please remember to like the video and share your reflections in the comment section below. Subscribe to Lotus Phoenix Astro Healer for more sacred astrology and tarot insights, and turn on your notifications so you never miss any of my uploads. If someone came to mind while you were listening to this message, take it as a sign that they could also benefit from it. Pay it forward by sharing this video with them. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today and for being part of my sacred journey. Remember to trust the process, honor your growth, and allow the cosmic currents to support you in creating clarity, balance, and meaningful transformation. Until next time, bye.